Welcome to the Rudick Report. Today is Tuesday, February 7th, 2023. The world-renowned economist Nouriel Roubini, who predicted the global financial crisis of 2008, recently wrote in an article for the Financial Times that the US dollar status as the world's reserve currency is in jeopardy. While no currency is yet capable of knocking out the greenback off its pedestal altogether, the US currency is quickly losing its competitive advantage to the Chinese yuan, Roubini wrote. Quote, given the increased weaponization of the dollar for national security purposes and the growing geopolitical rivalry between West and revisionist powers such as China, Russia, Iran, and North Korea, some argue that de-dollarization will accelerate. In a world that will be increasingly divided into two geopolitical spheres of influence, namely those surrounding the US and China, it is likely that bipolar currency regime will eventually replace the unipolar one, said Roubini. Cynics note that the yuan cannot become a true reserve currency unless Beijing lifts capital controls, accepts permanent current account deficits, and the yuan's exchange rate becomes more flexible. But Roubini argues that such points are no longer valid, while Washington is actively undermining the allure of its currency with sanctions. Complete exchange rate flexibility and international capital mobility is not necessary for a country to achieve reserve currency status. And while China may have capital controls, the U.S. has its own version that may reduce the appeal of dollar assets among foes and related friends. These include financial sanctions against its rivals, restrictions to inward investment in many national security-sensitive sectors and firms, and even secondary sanctions against friends who violate the primary ones, Roubini argued. He also noted that China has been stepping up yuan transactions with its foreign partners, and said this trend will likely continue, with more emerging market economies welcoming the ability to trade oil in yuan and to hold a greater share of the reserves in the Chinese currency, given that they do have a great deal more trade with China than the US. He added that new technologies like CBDCs, Alipay-like payment systems, swap lines between China and its partners, and national equivalents of the SWIFT messaging system will hasten the advent of a bipolar global monetary and financial system. Quote, for all these reasons, the relative decline of the US dollar as the main reserve currency is likely to occur over the next decade. The intensifying geopolitical contest between Washington and Beijing will inevitably be felt in the bipolar global reserve currency regime as well, Roubini concluded. Economist after economist is raising the red flag here, telling us there is a big problem and that the dollar is losing its luster as the reserve currency. Nations are tired of the United States having an advantage of other countries monetarily. They are tired of being forced to make purchases with the US dollar, especially as the United States can simply apply sanctions on any country it wants to punish them if they are not falling in line. The BRICS countries are moving away from the dollar at a rapid pace, and in my opinion it won't take long for the breakaway to happen, or at the very least, the setup of payments in alternative currencies, just as Saudi Arabia has indicated. Prepare yourself for this eventuality. This is not financial advice, but for me it may be time to look to diversify into alternative assets like gold and silver, and even digital assets with utility like XRP, as we see not only the move away from the dollar, but also the rapid drive into central bank digital currencies. Thank you for watching. If you can, please support this channel by visiting my affiliate links. I truly appreciate the help in keeping this channel going. Until next time, this is the Rudick Report.